Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson, and I am so excited to share more great news with you, folks. The great news keeps pouring in. Now we've got the No Kings rally coming up on Saturday. By the way, you would not believe who is headlining the No Kings rally in the state of Minnesota. We'll get to that and other news, but one thing I'm really excited about is arrests. I want to see the people who are trying to destroy our country arrested. And fortunately for you folks, I have news of such things. That's right. I have a great arrest for you. We are getting closer to the organizers. Now, I want you to tell me in the comments right now if this guy is going to sing like a canary or not. I think what you are going to see with this guy being arrested, look at him. He looks like an angry man, doesn't he? Anyhow, he has been arrested and he has been charged with conspiracy to commit civil disorders, 18 USC 371. This is Alejandra Theodoro Orellana. He was arrested this morning by FBI in Los Angeles. It is so exciting for me, folks, to actually see the FBI doing its job, for the agents to actually be arresting real criminals. And I want to know how many of you are excited about this. Are you all excited? Because I don't know if you're like me, but I get terribly excited about this news. You have a guy, this is the guy who was handing out the masks. Do you remember that? Here, in fact, I'll show you the video of that real quick.
Describe where it just feels like something's going to happen.
There's the mask,
and you're waiting for it to happen.
Bionic shield.
You can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Yeah.
And we have people handing out masks.
No local police to be seen. And I think it's very important at this point to remember that they were telling us that the local police had it all under control. Do you remember when Karen Bass said that they had it under control and didn't need the National Guard? And instead, it was President Trump, by sending the National Guard, sending the Marines to protect federal buildings, that shamed them into actually bringing in law enforcement officers from 14 different agencies across California and actually getting a police presence. My notification just came through. Maybe we'll get more people on the stream. Do me a favor, smash that like, share it out, because this is great news. Let's watch the rest of this.
Gas mask, and we just saw people graffitiing the sidewalk right in front of this truck, and we've seen people doing burnouts in the street. There's no local law enforcement around.
Let us clarify, because we've been showing a wide shot and from a different angle, a whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building, almost behind you, and perhaps the visuals obstructed from your point of view. But I can tell you there are many, many, many LAPD cars and officers there that have staged. They are blocking that freeway overpass, so protesters can't get on that overpass like they did yesterday.
So again, they're handing out these bionic face masks, folks. That's what was going on. And what's really interesting is now this dude has been arrested. I'll go back to him. So again, this is, he was charged with conspiracy. I'm so excited the FBI is actually doing their job. This is what excites me maybe most. Well, there's two things that really excite me about this story. One is that we're seeing the FBI actually doing real law enforcement. Let me ask you this question. Do you guys think, because Merrick Garland told us time and time again that he had not politicized the DOJ, that the FBI was simply allowed to do its job, does anybody in their right mind believe that you would have seen this guy arrested under the Biden regime with Merrick Garland at the helm of the DOJ? Does anybody think that would have happened? Yes or no? I am telling you, there is no way I could ever see this happening under the Biden Justice Department. And yet they told us it was all non-political. Do you guys remember? I mean, Merrick Garland came out with a straight face. I don't know if these people just lie so much that they actually believe their lies. I think Gavin Newsom might be there. But a lot of them, I think they actually believe what they're saying. They get so proficient at lying and coming up with these false narratives that they actually start to believe them themselves. I mean, do you guys think I might be right on that? Or am I just crazy and they just know they're lying all the time? I don't know. You seem so much happier since we won. I was so irritated doing, oh yeah, Loomer needs 50K for finding him. That's right. I mean, she did. She's like, I mean, Laura Loomer does the Lord's work. I mean, sometimes she seems a little crazy. I have interviewed her. I like when you were with her in person. When I interviewed her at the RNC on Lindell TV or Frank Speech at that point, she was a wonderful interview. She was fun to sit down with and everything. And people say a lot of crazy things about her. And I know at times, I mean, she seems to kind of just go off the rails a little bit. But I think some of these people with these fighter type spirits in them have a tendency to do that. So you got to take people as they are. And the work she does, I think, far outweighs everything else. So yeah, there is no way this man ever would have been arrested during the Biden regime. It would not have happened. It wouldn't have happened. No, I don't care what they say. It wouldn't have happened. Really quickly, do need to mention my sponsor really quickly. That's Birch Gold. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the word Lumberjack to 989898. There is no obligation, just useful information, folks. It is your responsibility to secure your financial future. I invest in gold and silver. It's been a good investment in terms of it's going up, but for me, it's always been like a fail safe. I have physical gold and silver. I want to have that as a modicum of exchange. Again, legal tender now in Florida. Other states have adopted that as well. Gold's up 30% year over year. Silver, it went up again yesterday. It's at like 36 and change. I don't know what it's doing today. I haven't checked yet. It doesn't matter. I buy this stuff. I hold it. And I'm just ready in times of crisis because people will always be looking for stores of value. So that's why I own gold and silver. You guys do what you want to do, but go talk to my friends at Birch Gold. Text Lumberjack to 989898. So again, he was distributing the face shields to suspected rioters. I love this, how it says suspected rioters. They were freaking rioting, okay? But I get it. He's a U.S. attorney. We are moving quickly to identify and arrest those involved in organizing and or supporting civil disorder in Los Angeles. I want you to pay attention to this last line. We are moving quickly to identify and arrest those involved in organizing and or supporting civil disorder in Los Angeles. This is where the story gets really good, folks. Here, I want you to watch this video. This gentleman here, I'll read this. Another TikToker reveals they were offered $200 to join the nationwide No King's Day protest in New York City, targeting ICE and President Trump's deportation policies. So just watch this real quick.
I just got offered $200 a day to go protest ICE in New York.
Hold on, I got this set too fast. I listen to everything on 2 times speed, folks, because that's what I do. I got to get through so much news. So you probably don't want to listen to it on 2 times speed. So there we go. That should have fixed that.
The organization was...
Okay, there we go.
I just got offered $200 a day to go protest ICE in New York. The organization was called No Kings. They said June 14th, we're going to be protesting and these are the streets that you need to be on. And this is what you need to do. You need to cause chaotic disruptions, and they said that there's going to be pallets of like bricks and different things everywhere that protesters could use. They really want to wreak havoc. It's kind of ridiculous. Me as an American, although I need the money, I'm like, this is very, very unpatriotic. If I was to go take this money and go protest, it's not very American. It's not what I stand for.
So look at this. This guy's great, because he needs the money, but he's not going to take it. And ultimately it's $200 a day, to sell your soul. But this is what they're doing. They're funding this. And just hold on, as I want you to watch this video. But then I'm going to show you something that reveals some of the funding behind it. Folks, this is I am so excited. I actually believe the Department of Justice is pursuing these. I did a story on this yesterday. Pam Bondi has been instructed by President Trump, find who is funding this stuff. That's who we need to go after. The big fish are not these people out protesting. It's the people organizing the protesting. It's the people paying for those face shields that then Union Man was out distributing.
It's obviously not even, worth the time, but $200 a day is what they're paying people to go protest. The corruption is up here because it goes way beyond these organizations. They want to destroy America. And, you know, people like me that need money are going to go do it. I'm not going to go do it, but people are going to go do it. They're going to go destroy, you know, the city and cause chaos. It's just crazy that, you know, they're even paying people to go do this. It just goes to show that everything we deal with is corruption, and these people at the top level, like, who's paying for this? There's got to be some billionaires paying for this so that, you know, they could try to get Trump out or something. But, you know, $200 a day to go cause chaos is like crazy. Not worth it, but also like really fucked up.
Okay, so there's this guy, right? And there's his take on this. Now, I saw a great question, and it said, if the funding is true, who is offering the $200 to protest? We're about to find out here, folks. Okay, so I'm going to bring in another thing. And right here, well, I got two of them. Where's the other one? Where did that other one go? Hold on one second. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm going to move this one up with this one. So I've got two. All right. Let's see. We're going right here. I got to pull this comment and add it to the stage. All right. So here we go from DataRepublican. Again, if you just jumped on the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, chat in with where you're from. We are covering, this guy did get arrested. I want you to know that. This is the guy who was handing out the face shields. You probably saw that video. Well, here we go. Who's behind the money, though? That's the real question, right? Just released. Follow the money behind the No Kings rally. DataRepublican has launched an interactive open source map showing how your tax dollar flows to organizations involved in the No Kings rally. Now, of course, that's the rally coming up on Saturday, where I got more on funding too. But I tracked funding from federal sources to final recipients, prioritizing direct pass, not via DAFs whenever possible. Important, most pass went through donor-advised funds. DAFs, the black box of the nonprofit world. Unfortunately, it's a common and opaque funding structure that deserves scrutiny. Okay, so then she tells you how to do this. Okay, so, but here you go. Here's all this money moving, and you can, DataRepublican's a great follow, by the way. Okay, so why, look at this. World Wildlife Fund? What are they doing funding a protest about illegal immigrants? Why would the World Wildlife Fund, of all things, be doing that? I don't know. American Center for International, I don't know the rest of it. The Board of Trustees of the Leland, the Nature Conservancy, Legal Aid Foundation for Los Angeles. Now, what's interesting about this to me, and we found this out the other day, this was that was Pride of, what's that? It was a northeastern New England state. Was it Maine? No. But it was one of those states up in the Northeast, Delaware. Pride of Delaware had to basically cut back. Their budget got slashed by, I think it was 47%. And one of their biggest donors was Planned Parenthood. So Planned Parenthood is taking your tax dollars. And okay, something needs to be said here. Money is fungible. So a lot of, here, I got to go out to the farther ones here too. But money is fungible. I'm sorry, I'm like tracing three things in my mind at once here. So I'm going to just pull back. So Planned Parenthood is giving money to Pride of Delaware. That money for Planned Parenthood comes from taxpayers and then donors to Planned Parenthood. Now, people will always say Planned Parenthood doesn't use money to do abortions, government money. But the reality is, because money is fungible, if they're not spending it in one place, they're spending it in another. It frees that money up. So we were directly funding abortions with our tax dollars. Now look at this. National Democratic Institute, National Endowment for Democracy. So you can see $83 million, $989,000, then moves to American Center for International, whatever it is, who then sends $25,445 to the Chinese Progressive Action, who then goes to BVM Capacity Building Institute. Okay. So all this money flows from your tax dollars through these organizations, okay? And they're all freaking out because of what Doge has uncovered. And so this is how you use the website. So ACLU Foundation, Texas, see federal grants. So she's got this set up on a website. And if you want to know what that website is, I want to get that to you here quick. It's just DataRepublican.com, I believe. Yeah, DataRepublican.com if you want to go find where this money is flowing. Okay. Now, this is interesting. So I want to go to this comment. This doesn't show much. Federal grant funding is fenced. Just because an organization receives some federal funds does not mean they're using those specific funds for the rally. Really? Is that what it means? That is a dumb argument. Taxes give them money to support shared overhead and other expenses, so they had more money to give to the protest movements, even if it wasn't direct. This is what I was saying about money being fungible. In fact, this guy down here said, stop, money is fungible. So federal grant money, at a minimum, frees up other sources of funding to be used for these riots. You know, right, I have $2 in my pocket. I need to buy a hammer and some nails. The hammer is $1. The nails are $1. The feds say I can't use their dollar on a hammer. I'm still driving nails because of the feds' help. You know, these people are stupid. And this, I actually was talking with a friend last night and another photographer, and he said something, and we were talking about how the government, I was saying how the government is always lying to us in Minnesota right now. And this is the problem. This is why none of us trust them, because they lie about everything. And things that shouldn't be political are, you know, like football is now political, or wildlife management. This is where it gets really wild. So in Minnesota, we have some moose, not very many, unfortunately, anymore. We used to be able to hunt moose in Minnesota. Now we cannot. Where my property is up by Hibbing, Minnesota, I used to be able to shoot 3 deer on my land. I'd come up in one weekend, get my deer, and go home back when I didn't live up here yet. So, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Anyhow, so I used to be able to shoot 3 deer. I'd get them in one weekend, all that. Now we have wolves. The wolf season was closed. Federal judge out in D.C. says you can't hunt wolves. Now it's been, I think, delisted, but Tim Walls will never open up the wolf hunt with his director of the Department of Natural Resources. Now we see no deer. Literally, I mean, I've gone a whole hunting season and not even seen a deer. Okay, I'm a reasonably good hunter. I've shot animals all my life. We've long lived off game meat, and I don't even see a deer. And the DNR tells us that it's not because of the wolves. Well, and then they talk about what's that statement about causality? You guys know, somebody in the chat will help me out. Does not equal correlation, does not equal causality. There you go. And so as a result of that, you don't know that it's the wolves. Yet the thing that's changed is the wolves. It's like when people were dying of myocarditis, right? And we saw that there was this one thing out there that had changed, but we don't really know that it's the one thing. Okay. And then, my friend, God bless him, but he's like, well, what do the studies say? I said, well, apparently they can get the studies to say that there's more freaking moose in Minnesota than wolves by almost twice as much. That's BS. There's not twice as many moose in Minnesota as there are wolves. I see wolves all the time. I rarely see moose. And then people say, yeah, but do you really know? It's a study. Well, let me see. A wolf weighs maybe 100 pounds. A moose weighs 1,200 pounds. They're much easier to see, but I never see them. But I see the wolves all the time. Please stop. Stop with this crap. We're told this stuff all the time. We're told not to believe our own eyes. It's like when all the counts on the election stopped at the same time. No, that's normal. When we saw those spikes where things shot straight up. No, you don't understand. You don't really know. Shut up. I cannot stand this stuff anymore. All right. Hopefully I haven't lost y'all. Now, let's go to this one. I told you that somebody special was going to be speaking at the No Kings rally, folks. It's this character, Timmy Walls. Okay? Indivisible Twin Cities, AFL-CIO, and Governor Timmy Walls is going to be there, folks. Don't you want to? I commented on that one, Dustin. Dustin Gage said this, and I said, maybe he'll fix a carburetor on stage. Remember, he was the Great White Hope. Anyways, so here we go. More importantly, note that the AFL-CIO sponsorship, AFL-CIO through the Quasi-Governmental Solidarity Center, NGO, is one of the core soft power NGOs. Bluntly, AFL-CIO is one of the key taxpayer-funded organizations in effecting regime change all over the world. That AFL-CIO is openly involved in sponsoring the No Kings rally should raise extreme concerns as to the rally's true purpose. They reportedly received $72 million in federal funding. The American Center for International Labor Solidarity, $72 million in federal funding. Again, they are using your money against you. Folks, again, please smash that like. Get this news out. It's important. I don't think, again, I'm very excited about the rest. If you just jumped on, so when you're doing a live, this happens. So just give me a second. I want to go show everybody. They're like, wait, well, who got arrested? Alejandro Teodoro Orellano was arrested by the FBI Los Angeles. It was the guy handing out the face shields. He has been arrested on an allegation of conspiracy to commit civil disorders for distributing the face shields to the rioters. Okay. So that's straight from U.S. Attorney Bill Asalai from the Department of Justice. So this is what's going on right now. Now let me go here. I want to show you because this is I'm going to bring in another video. This is Carolyn Levit dealing with stupid MSM reporters. My friend Heather had shared this because she's with America First News. By the way, folks, I will probably be doing a show on America First News starting this fall, but just a little thing for you to know. But Press Secretary Carolyn Levit shuts down reporters' stupid questions on parade protests. Okay. So unfortunately, some reporters in the briefing room continue to waste time and opportunities to ask legitimate questions on behalf of the American people. Instead, they ask stupid stuff like this.
The president absolutely supports peaceful protests. He supports the First Amendment. He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job. It's very clear for the president what he supports and what he does not. Unfortunately for Democrats, that line has not been made clear, and they've allowed this unrest and this violence to continue, and the president has had to step in.
One question. So if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. Rick Cal.
What a stupid question. I love Carolyn Levit is just, she's fantastic. Okay, hold on. We're going to this one. Okay, we covered that. And I want to note something. Democrats have actually been opposed to illegal immigration before. So it makes sense to bring this clip up. This is Bernie Sanders. This is from 2015. Let's watch it.
Open borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal. The idea, of course, I mean, that's a right-wing proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But okay, now I can't play this whole thing without interrupting it because this, whatever his name, Ezra Klein, thinks his stuff is so great, he'll copyright strike, even though there's no need to because it's fair use. I've dealt with that crap before.
It would make a lot of global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Again, here, wait. You're doing away with the concept of a nation state, and it would make everybody in America poorer. I watched a video this morning of a guy who runs a construction company whining about how the illegals weren't showing up because of the ICE raids. And what was interesting about this was, hey, if you're new to the channel, actually had a lot of new people listening to the channel here the last couple of days. Just, subscribe. It's free. Okay. It's free to subscribe. Just, hit the little button down there, says subscribe, turn on the notifications. I typically do around 1 to 2 videos a day. I try to cover some breaking stuff. Sometimes I'll hit 3. All right. So for those of you who have been longtime listeners to my show, I've been around since November of 2020. Please drop a comment in the chat and encourage everybody to subscribe and tell them why you actually like this channel. Actually, I'm curious. What is it you like about my channel? I never thought it would actually become this big. So I'm curious about that. So please encourage the others to subscribe and be part of this community. But let's go back to this. I want to get onto a new video. Okay, today, look at this. This is so funny. This is my senator, Amy Klobuchar. Today, we heard from Felicia, a single mom of 4 who works up to 3 jobs at a time to make ends meet. I know this is a little divergent, so don't worry. I'll come back to the main story. She counts on SNAP to help put food on the table. This is who Republicans in Congress are trying to take food away from. Look, folks, I'm going to make a quick statement. If you're overweight, that's not what this is about. This is optics. This is wow, I cannot believe that this is what they chose to use.
I am a single mom of 4 who are ages 21, 17, 12, and 11. I would like to tell you my story on how SNAP benefit has helped me. Sorry.
And she's obviously nervous. She's called up there, so I don't want to, but look at this. Who works up to 3 jobs at a time. Listen to this testimony. Amy Klobuchar completely misrepresented this.
Go ahead. You're doing good.
When I had my oldest daughter 21 years ago, I was working 3 jobs. 1 job alone, I had to pay childcare. Another one to pay food, and which wasn't enough, and one to pay the bills, and I still struggled a lot. Moving forward, I am now working a full-time job as a bus monitor, and I'm a driver who transports students to specialized schools in Kansas City. As an employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, but I am going to say this. Do you people think that she could go on a fast and be okay for a little while? I'm not trying to be mean here. Obesity is a problem leading to massive health decay in the U.S., and it costs us all money. Okay? Seriously. You got to drop the soda, drop the sugary drinks, okay? And now SNAP pays for that crap. Okay? She is not going hungry, folks. And look at this. I want to... wait, I got to go into the comments on this. Let me move ahead. We're going to stop that. Okay, so there's a lot of comments about, obviously, clearly SNAP needs to be taken away from her. She's abusing it. What an amazing post. Thanks for this. But there was a really good comment I saw on this, and I want to... Where did it go? Morbidly obese person getting SNAP benefit. Okay, this gal. For those who have been fat shaming this mother, what is wrong with you? You're so mean. Okay. But somebody made a comment, and it was written so well, but I can't. Here's the bottom line. What about all the families who are going with less to provide for this family? What about the working? So the statement they're making is that I have no problem with giving money out. I mean, giving money away to people. I help people. I mean, I love helping people. That's great. But the government then forces the money from you, okay, at the threat of a gun. And you know what's crazy about this? Somebody had a great comment here. I have lost 60 pounds and no longer obese. And yes, fasting works. Brooks Kelly, thanks for that comment. Where was I? What was I talking about, folks? It was dealing with this. Okay, yes, the government giving. Okay, so they take your money at the force of a gun through taxation, and then they give it to somebody else just based on an application. It ruins the entire system of giving and receiving, because then as the giver, I feel resentment because they took it by force. The receiver does not receive it with thankfulness because it was given to them by the government. There needs to be a change in how we do charity. because the government does not do charity. That's not what government was set up for. That's the church. That's individual Americans. That's who needs to do that. Okay. All right. Now, she used to work 3 jobs. She does not anymore. Again, that's the misrepresentation in all of this. All right. And here's a great statement. So I want to address something really important on all this illegal immigration. So you guys probably saw when I interviewed Tim Ballard at the RNC. Tim Ballard is the one that the Sound of Freedom movie was done about. He had Operation Underground Railroad. Throwback to my interview in 2023 with then candidate Trump. Tim Ballard says, in fact, how many of you want to see an interview with Tim Ballard? I can get him back on the show. I've got Tim's number. If you guys want to see an interview with Tim Ballard, I can totally get him back on the show. Since then, President Trump 47 has done all he promised. He fixed the border within weeks. He fixed the border within weeks and has already rescued, with Tom Homan, over 100,000 of the children Biden allowed to be trafficked or smuggled into the country. This is a story you are not hearing about in the mainstream media, folks. President Trump and Tom Homan have rescued already over 100,000 of the children Biden allowed to be trafficked and smuggled into this country. This is huge. He won't get credit and the media won't report it, but President Trump has already, in these first months of his presidency, rescued through direct intervention hundreds of thousands of foreign children from U.S.-based traffickers and pedophiles. On behalf of the voiceless children and the countless who have never knew you rescued them, thank you and God bless you. Let's watch this interview quick.
Because it includes everything. People coming in from all over the world. They're pouring into our country. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from mental institutions. They're terrorists. We have a terrible group of people running our country, and it's never been like this. The border's never been worse. You guys would understand that as well as I would. The border's never been more open. And when you have open borders like that, you have trafficking at a level that you've never seen before. So much different than when you and I previously met. And very sad to see it's gone so bad. We'll turn it around, but it's really very terrible to see.
So when you were in charge of the border, I remember them saying that your policies were both racist, no compassion from President Trump on these foreign children. And I look today and I'm in awe because the only compassionate policy is enforcement.
Yeah.
These children, Jim, what you were telling me, you saw the testimony of Ms. Rodas, right, from
Yes.
Health and Human Services.
April 26th.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, guys, did you catch that? I blew this up. I got to find this. But the only compassionate policy is enforcement. So don't fall for the lies of the left. Don't when you see these ICE raids and them crying about and mothers being torn from do not believe for a second. The only compassionate policy is enforcement. If you don't want to see 300,000 children go missing again, 400,000, whatever that number was, they've been able to recover 100,000 of them. They're working on it. They'll help more. But I mean, the only compassionate policy is enforcement. Okay? Smash that like if you would, please. How many of you agree that the only compassionate policy is enforcement?
Well, she gave her testimony.
Whistleblower, right?
Oh, yeah. And, she submitted evidence as well. And the next day in the media, it wasn't even covered. It never happened. I think the media is responsible as well as ignoring the south border. We don't have a country without a border.
Yeah. 85,000, Mr. President, 85,000 unaccompanied minors during the Joe Biden administration showed up and were released into the belly of the United States, which is the #1 consumer of child exploitation material in the world.
That's
no
sad.
background checks. The kids are released to whoever. It's more difficult to adopt a cat from a shelter than it is to go get a kid out of Health and Human Services. How do we fix this when you're back in?
Well, you need the policy, #1. You have to close up the borders, and we let people in when they go through a legal process. And we had that.
Did you guys catch that? I mean, getting a child out of Health and Human Services, easier to adopt a cat.
working really well. If they would have done nothing, the borders were just getting stronger and stronger. And from a human trafficking standpoint, and we find mostly women, but children very big also. But it's women and children. Nobody's seen like, I think I can say this, that nobody's ever seen it like it is today. And 3 years ago, we had it down to a level that they hadn't seen for many, many decades. It was the lowest it's been, I think, in recorded history. And now it's probably the worst it's ever been. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening in our country and to our country right now.
Now, you had implemented a policy known in the media as Remain in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think within the first week of Biden coming in, he abolished Remain in Mexico. What was that, and what were the effects of Joe Biden?
Well, we had a lot of things, Tim. We had walls that were going up at a level that were really rapidly going. You know, we took about 2 years to go through all the courts. We had 11 major court cases. I won all of those cases, and we started building the wall. That delayed it. We started building the wall. We actually took the military at it. The military gave us the money at my demand, I guess you'd have to say, at my demand. And because I considered it like an invasion, I call this an invasion of our country, and very bad for the people coming in, very bad for just about everybody. So we built hundreds of miles of wall. We renovated a lot too. And we did a real job. And then we had another 200 miles that we were going to build, which is far more than I anticipated building. But we had areas that were weak, and we built the wall for it. And all they had to do was install it. Could have been done in about 3 weeks. And they didn't want to do that. And as Jim said, when you have open borders and bad elections and a lot of other things, but when you have open borders, you just don't have a country. And that's what we have right now.
I never understood how the wall got politicized. I spent 10 years on that board, as you saw in the film.
Right.
And the Clinton administration built as much of the wall as anyone else had, because we all understood. There was a time when we understood that walls meant security equal children get rescued. You know, it's their last hope that they might get rescued by trained individuals who the traffickers are forced to take them to that port of entry. And it's so sad that they politicized this.
It is sad they politicize this. And the thing about Donald Trump, and I mean, I see all these, I don't know, criticisms of him and the administration, not only from people on the left, but even from people on the right, supposedly. He's doing a great job, and he's doing what he said he would do. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He gave up a lot to do this. I think he wants to cement his legacy. There's a lot of reasons people do things like this. Donald Trump obviously had tremendous success in business, but he has kids, grandkids. I think he wants to cement his legacy and provide a great future for them. Please go support my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack. You can save up to 66%, or call. I always call the 800 number, folks. Give those home operators some business. 1-800-568-2865, 1-800-568-2865. It's why I don't like using the self-checkout at the grocery store. I like going to people, providing them with meaningful work and things to do. AI is trying to replace everything. So just give them a call, 1-800-568-2865. $49.98 right now for those Giza sheets, folks. It's a phenomenal deal. They are the best sheets you will ever own. It absolutely 100% the best sheets. Okay. They just are. And yeah, it just go get yourself some, here you go. Right here, the mega sale, promo code Lumberjack. Okay. You can give to him too, if you need to. Oh, look at this, folks. This is without, okay. So this is really interesting. I tell you guys that these specials are exclusive to me. Look at this. Giza sheets, $69.98 on the homepage. Watch this. Because some people don't believe me. They think, oh, come on, Neil. Are these really Lumberjack Logic only exclusive specials? Yes, they are, and I will show you. So other people are paying $20 more. And here you are on the Lumberjack page. So you can't use the promo code. You actually have to go to the Lumberjack page. Folks, these sheets are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Go get yourself some. Start thinking about Christmas ahead of time because Mike is in a trial for the fight. He's in the fight of his life out there in a courtroom in, oh, here, look at this. Somebody said something. Got my Giza sheets and Rev 7. Not sure which I'm more impressed with. Giza are great. Rev 7 so much better than I expected. Can't wait for more. Thank you for Spring Pickens. Because, yeah, that Rev 7, I use that as my pre-workout drink. It's phenomenal. You can save up to 30% with a subscription, and you get a free 3-pack. So there's 3 flavors. I really like the apple. Spring Pickens, what's your favorite flavor of the Rev 7? Maybe you've only tried one. I'm not sure. But I love the apple. There's no sugar, no caffeine. It's a different energy drink. It's a different energy that uses BHB ketones. That's what your body produces when it goes into ketosis. It is patented. So go check that out. Again, it's mypillow.com, but you got to go to the /Lumberjack or call the 800 number and tell them Lumberjack to get this deal on these sheets because you can't get them with other promo codes. You can't get them on the main site. It is exclusive to us and our audience because you guys have supported Mike Lindell so much. So go check that out. mypillow.com /Lumberjack. Thanks for all the support. Blueberry, citrus, but all are great. I like the blueberry citrus too. That's a good one. It's kind of tangy. I really like it. Anyways, but I love the apple. So go check it out. Folks, thanks for listening to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. Again, if you're new, please do subscribe. I think I got all the super chats in there, right? Melissa, thanks again for that super chat. Yeah, there was an operation in Texas. They just rescued 109 children from exploitation. Thank you, Brooks, for bringing that up. So thank you so much, folks. We'll see you on the next episode. All right. Peace out.